you've answered so many of my questions already, and I just wanted to piggyback on the last thing you said, really, which was about going to sleep and how much rest we get in that period. And one of the...
You really don't need sleep. What you need, what you're wanting, what your body benefits from is releasing of resistance. So that's the greatest benefit that sleep gives you, is that you stop worrying about the things that have been bothering you, and you allow your energy alignment to take place.
I have a lot of practices that I do to try to stay in the vortex, as you call it. And I noticed that for me, one of the most challenging parts of the day is I wake up in a feels like a very small place. And so I start doing my practices to get myself into the vortex.
Well, here, this is an interesting thing to notice, that if you go to sleep in the vortex, you're going to wake up in the vortex.
Yes.
If you go to sleep out of the vortex, you're going to wake up out of the vortex, because your vibration is right where you last left it, you see. So a very nice thing to do is to soothe yourself, bask yourself to sleep. Lie in your bed and just appreciate it. Just appreciate the fabric, appreciate the pillow, appreciate the well-being, appreciate, but what you want to do is appreciate anything that doesn't take you into that. In other words, if you've got a concern about your body, appreciating your body is at that moment might not be the best plan. If you're wanting a relationship and it isn't working out, then envisioning a relationship isn't the best plan. You want to do what's easy alignment. So Esther focuses on her pillow. She bought a new pillow and she just couldn't stop talking about it. She talked about her pillow as if there were 100 reasons to love her pillow. Jerry would say, "Good night, honey, I love you," and she would say, "I love my pillow." She just really got herself focused upon this, the way the pillow felt, the way it held her head, the way it smelled, the way she felt when she awakened in the morning. In other words, just focusing upon the positive aspects of a pillow put her in the vortex. We're not kidding you. And if you go to sleep in the vortex, you will wake up in the vortex. Certainly in the scope of human events, there are many more things to think about that are more important than your pillow. No, not really. Anything that puts you into the vortex is important, you see. And so here's the pattern that we would encourage. So bask yourself to sleep. And when you awaken, lie there for just a moment and see if you can reclaim that feeling of basking. And then you can go right into a list of positive aspects. In other words, before your feet even hit the floor, you can tune yourself to inside the vortex. And then everything in your day will be better. Everything in your day will be better.
I love my feather pillow too. It holds my neck just right, and I have a practice of really grounding myself before I go to bed. But somehow it's not showing up the way you're saying. I still wake up often, and it feels like I'm in this other land, and it's like a one-way mirror. You can only see down, you can't see up.
It's a progressive thing. You see, these are the things that you want to be aware of. And so let's just ask you some questions here. Okay. Do you accept that you are...
I get that through me sometimes.
Do you accept that you are source energy, a part of which is expressing in this physical body?
Yes.
And do you accept that in this physical body that you are constantly the focused reason for an expansion in the larger part of that which is you? Do you accept that your moving through contrast, your living of your life, is the reason that the source within you is having the fantastic expansion that it is having?
I'm not sure. I got a little lost in there.
Well, we'll start again, because these questions will, and we're not trying to put words in your mouth. We're just wanting to activate within you something that from broader perspective you know. So do you accept that you were non-physical before you were physical?
Yes.
Do you accept that even while you are here in this physical body, that there's a non-physical part of you that is currently present and active at the same time?
Yes.
Do you accept that in every moment of conscious awareness that start again, whether you are consciously aware of it or not, do you accept that the vibration of who you really are and the vibration of who you're allowing yourself to be are playing off one another all the time?
Yes.
Do you accept that the source within you is holding the highest frequency of what you have expanded to?
Yes.
Do you accept that unless you're doing that thing you do that sets up resistance within you, that you will be in that highest vibration.
Absolutely.
So,
and there are these habits, somehow it happens, seem like out of my consciousness because I'm not shining the light of consciousness. And it seems like I'm not shining it in sleep. And so I guess I'm concerned about all that time I'm waking up with all this weird stuff.
Well, but it's all about what you're doing right before you go to sleep. In other words, it doesn't matter how long you sleep. If you're worried about something and you activate some resistance within you and you sleep for 4 days, when you wake up, that resistance is still going to be within you. Because the vibration is where you last left it consciously. You have to move the conscious vibration, you see. That's why, as we talk about coming into the vortex and milking it, and coming into the vortex and milking it, so that it's just your propensity for that vibration.
Yes.
Let's start at another place, because we can feel that we've activated some confusion around the room, and we want to be very clear about this. You're going to like this when you discover it. So, every thought that has ever been thought still exists. And those thoughts are gathered together by law of attraction. There's a coalescing of them. So there are rivers and streams of thoughts. So what you're really wanting to do is to figure out how to tune to the highest frequency of who you are. And your emotions hold the key to that. So if you can accept that all of that expansion has taken place and that the larger part of you stands being, knowing, being who you are, and you are not beating the drum of something that's bothering you, in the absence of that resistance, this powerful law of attraction vortex will take you right to who you are. And as you're being called to it, you feel the passion of it. In other words, the moving in the direction of who you are is what exhilaration is. It's what passion is. It's what frisky is. It's what that robust feeling is. The feeling of coming into alignment. Now, you're not ever going to get it done, because life's going to, no matter where you stand, there's still going to be contrast. Even inside the vortex, there is variety that is causing you to ask for more. Yes. So you're always going to be asking for more, and you're always going to have already become more. So your work is always the same, to allow yourself to be all that you have become. And anytime you're not allowing it, you're going to know it by the negative emotion that you're feeling. So if you just do your best to feel as good as you can, as much as you can, and especially right before you go to sleep, what you'll begin to notice is that you'll have more obvious in the vortex moments. And when you are aware that you're feeling good, that's when you want to stop and practice the vibration of it. Now, here's what all of that was leading up to. Our friend earlier, in fact, it's come up several times as we've been chewing together here already today, talking about the lives that you're born into, or the environment that surrounds you, or what you're witnessing even when you're children. In other words, what is it that sets your patterns of thought into motion? And we say, for most people, it's what they are observing. What you're observing is what causes you to begin to offer your vibration. So if you see something that's lovely, you offer a vibration that matches it. If you see something that's awful, you offer a vibration that matches it. And so a lot of where people are by the time that we begin to visit with them has to do with what their environment has been like and what they've been observing, because they are vibrationally responding to what they've been observing. So injustices or unfairnesses or sicknesses or poverty or abundance or wellness, people are... they allow what they're observing to train their vibration. But that's because when they were first born, the people around them said, look at me and please me. Now, they were born with emotion that was saying otherwise. They were born with emotion that said, this love really feels good, and this hate really feels bad, and this confidence really feels good, and this uncertainty really feels bad. But a lot of people still were sort of swept away by what they were observing. The details of their life caused them to establish the patterns of thought. So as we visit with someone like you, you have all kinds of patterns of thought. Some of them are serving you well, and some of them are not serving you very well. But the thing that we really want you to hear from us is that law of attraction is going to deliver to you the thought that matches where you are. In other words, where you are is where you are. Where you are is where you are. If you're having an unpleasant conversation with someone, it's likely that you're going to have another one and another one and another one. It's likely that you're going to stew on it. It's likely that you're going to turn on television and see something similar to it. It's likely that you're going to check your email and there's going to be something else there, because law of attraction is going to keep mimicking and reflecting back to you how you feel. So how does someone move themselves into a better feeling vibration? How do you make the adjustment? How do you find something? How do you move? Because law of attraction is not helping you out. Law of attraction says, oh, you don't like that, then you won't like this either. And oh, you don't like that, then you won't like this either. And oh, you don't like that, then you won't like this either. And so how do you break that? How do you break that cycle?
Shift focus.
But how do you shift your focus when law of attraction is dishing out the ideas? When law of attraction is dishing out the next. In other words, you can be focused on something in the moment that is unpleasant. Before you know it, you're remembering that bad thing that happened and that bad thing that happened, and now you're standing in line in the post office, which was bad enough, and then somebody else is talking to you about the thing that happened to them, and it's just a spiral that keeps going. So now we're building up to something, because we want you to follow this track. So trying to change the thought is not going about it the easy way, because the thought that you're most likely to think is going to pretty much match the thought you've been thinking.
It's like a war.
In the same way, it's not like a war. It's like law of attraction saying, here's more, here's more, here's more, here's more. It's a war in the sense that it's not who you really are, and you don't want to feel bad. So
yeah, I just meant if I try to talk against that thing, I stopped that years ago, because it feels like...
That's what we were demonstrating with those cards. All it does is cause you to dig in more. So you're all there before we're even getting there. So what is the logical way to break that evil spell? Stop thought. Stop thought. Take a walk. Go for a run. Listen to some music. Meditate if you can. In other words, what you want to do is slow the thought down. Now, what we said earlier is, if you're specifically negative, get more general negative, and then get more general negative, and then get more general positive. But it's much easier. Friends, it is much easier. It is so much easier to just catch yourself having accidentally stumbled into the vortex, and then just stay there a little longer until the these are the key words: to allow the source within you to tune you to the frequency that is really who you are. Because that's what's going to happen. The negative stuff tuned you. It took a long time, but the negative stuff did tune you. You can allow the positive stuff to tune you. And it will. It is all day, every day. If you could stand in your vortex where we are and see what we see, you would understand that you have the resources that creates worlds wrapped around you all the time. Always rooting for you, always knowing your value, always loving you, always knowing your capabilities, always knowing where you are, always knowing what you put there, always knowing that it's all good, always knowing that you're going to get there, always knowing that it will manifest, always knowing that it doesn't have to manifest in order to feel it. And that really is the message that we're wanting you to get here in this moment in time. If you could be happy for the alignment and the feeling that it brings, and disregard the manifestation that hasn't come round yet, if you can feel the feeling of it and align with the feeling of it and align with the power and the clarity of it and practice that vibration enough, then you'll have clear sight. The vortex will reveal to you, or better said, you'll be in a place where you will be able to translate into your manifestational world what's already vibrationally in the vortex. You followed that, didn't you? Mm-hmm. You were right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So what is the vortex? It's a state of being where the larger part of you exists. It's the fullness of who you are, holding a steady light so that you will always know in every moment where you stand in relationship to it. It's the guidance that you have always been looking for, that has always been available to you.